Greetings and welcome to another AG2 production. My name is Chief Warrant Officer 3 Jordan Murphy. The topic of this video is creating a user group and assigning permissions to a group and giving the group permissions to an object in SharePoint. The purpose of this video is to provide the viewer with the skills necessary to create a user group and assign permissions to the group on a SharePoint site. The target audience is a SharePoint beginner. The video was created using SharePoint 2010. In order to complete the steps in this video, you must have design permissions or higher on your SharePoint site. If you do not have design permissions, contact your site administrator. User groups are useful in SharePoint as they allow you to create custom user lists, which allow you to assign permissions to a specific task group or list or document library in SharePoint. Upon completion of this video, the viewer should have a higher level of confidence in creating user groups and assigning individuals to those groups. It's not intended to be all-inclusive of the options available in creating a group and assigning permissions. Let's begin. First, navigate to your SharePoint site. Click on the Site Actions drop-down at the top left of your screen, then click on Site Permissions. From this screen, click on Create Group. Now, from this screen is where you're going to create your group. So, in the Name and About Me section, type the name of your group. It is helpful to create a standard naming convention for your groups, as it will be easier to locate them when assigning permissions to the group. For this group name, I will type 108SB_HR_assassins. In the About Me section, I'm going to type list of 420 alphas and other HR assassins. In the Group Owner field, you can leave yourself in there. However, if you leave the organization, only the SharePoint server administrator can access the group. So you may wish to change the ownership to your site admin group, which I will do here. Scroll down here, 108 site admins. And then under who can view the membership of the group and who can edit the membership of the group, we're going to leave those the same. We're not going to change any of these defaults here. And now here under the give permissions to this site group, what you want to do is choose the lowest, or correction, the highest level default permission you want the group to have across the site. So for this group, I'm going to give them design permissions so that they can also accomplish this task. Now I'm going to click on Create. When the screen reloads, you're going to see the list of all the individuals who have who are assigned to the 108SB HR Assassins group. So now what I'm going to do is click on New, Add Users, and I'm going to look for some users to add to the group. So what I'm going to do here is click on the phone book icon, and I'm going to type in the name of a few people here that I know are already on here. Choose Warrant Officer Candidate now CW2 Christy Leonard. Next one I'm going to search for is Jerry Myrick, who's all the way down here. Warrant Officer 1 now CW2 Jerry Myrick. Now I'm going to look for one other soldier here. And here he is right here. Go ahead, double click on his name. Hit add. Correction, just hit double click, hit OK. And you'll see actually I need to go back in here and add Christy Leonard. Because if you don't click on it inside here and it doesn't get in the add box, it will not show up in your user list. Now, one thing of note is that only the names of individuals who have an account on your SharePoint site will show up in this search window. So now I'm going to look for CW3 Shannon Tyus on here. And as you can see, he doesn't show up in here because he is not part of this particular SharePoint site. So I cannot assign him permissions to this list. Now what I'm going to do, so they're all going to get an email now, I'm going to send them a quick message here. Welcome to this site. You can choose to send an email or not send an email. If you don't want to send an email, you can uncheck it, and you can change the subject line and the personal message in here. So now these three are going to get an email and wonder what it's all about. That's it. Now you've created a group and added individuals to the group. Now what we want to do is give this group permissions to a couple different objects on the site. So what I'm going to do here is from this screen, I'm going to click on Libraries. I'm going to click on my test document library. Up the top here, I'm going to click on Library. Go over to Library Permissions, which you can't see on this screen. You can see this icon right here. It's two people with a key. If your screen is larger, you'll actually see where it says Library Permissions. So go ahead and click on this icon. And you can see that the group does not have access to this object yet. So first one I want to do is click on Grant Permissions. Actually, before that, if your screen shows that this library inherits permissions from its parent, you'll see a link here that says Stop Inheriting Permissions. You want to click on that. Then click on Grant Permissions. This box will pop up here. I'm going to go ahead and type in here. I'm going to do a search for 108SB underscore. Click search, and I'm going to look for my 108SB HR Assassins group that I just created. Click on add, hit OK. Now you can also assign permissions here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give them design permissions on here as well, and then send them another message and flood their inbox. Look, you are going to be AG Tube famous. Congratulations. Now they're going to get another email saying, and wonder where that came from. So that is how you assign permissions to a document library. We'll go back over here, Libraries, click the library name, Library, Library Permissions again, and this is where you would grant the permissions. Now what we're going to do is we're going to give them permission to a list. If you've followed any of the other AGTube videos I've created, you'll see this list is going to be familiar looking to you. Here's the Action Tracker list. Again, what you're going to do, click on Action Tracker. Click up here at the top, you see List Tools. Click on List. Wait for the screen to reload. You'll see this icon up here says List Permissions. If your screen is larger, click List Permissions. And you'll see this list inherits permissions from its parent. Now what we want to do is stop inheriting permissions. Click OK. And what I'm going to do now, since they're already on here, I'm going to delete them. Just click on the checkbox, click Remove User Permissions. I'm going to go through again and click on Grant Permissions. User Group, click at the phone book. In the find, I'm going to type 108SB underscore. Hit Enter. Look down for my HR Assassins group. Click OK. Give them design permissions. I'm going to send another email. Still AGTube famous. You are welcome. Click on OK. It adds them to this list for permissions. They have design permissions here. And that's it. You've now created a group, added members to the group, and I demonstrated how you can add that group as having permissions to two different objects, a document library and a list on your SharePoint site. Thank you for tuning into AGTube.